Hey, welcome to the Really Charlie podcast. And tonight's guest is Edward Pacheco. This man has done so many things over our lifetime, and I truly am glad to get him on this podcast for probably about the third time. And this is definitely an honor, especially get out of work, come home, and come on my podcast. And I got a great man on my podcast, and he is running. He is running his campaign. He's trying to get elected. And we need you all to get out there and vote. Just don't register to vote. You got to cast your vote because it's very important that you cast your vote instead of being on a list. You definitely need to be out there and voting. It only takes a few minutes to vote, and so get out there and vote and bring yourself, bring three or four others, just bring them, and you know what? This man has definitely been true to me for many years. It's going on decades. So without further ado, everyone, we have Edward Pacheco on the Really Charlie podcast.
CP.
What's going
Okay,
on?
so first things first, my friend. Can we talk about that joint you got at the top of your show? Like that hook, man. Woo.
I love it. Yeah, that's the second one. My friend Lionel Walker, he had created the original, and it kept getting copyright issues, and I was like, wow, man, he created on his own, and
Yeah,
but there was some music in there that YouTube didn't like, so
yeah,
we had to create another one. So
that's amazing. Loved it. Loved it. It felt like
thank you,
all
thank
like
you.
Jennifer Hudson show and stuff. Like, but
Yeah, we try to keep it, more professional or at least professional because I've been doing this since 2020, and so I
yeah,
try to up my ante a little bit and make everyone feel like this is a true blue podcast, and it's special because we have people like you that come on here, and we want to give you your flowers while you're standing. And but
all right.
it's great that a good man like you is getting in. Well, you've been in politics, but you're getting involved. You're trying to do your thing, and but let's talk about you and your family life, man. What's going on? Tell us about it.
The world is an oyster, man. I am so blessed. My wife is exceptional. Our girls, there's six of them. The youngest two just graduated from high school. One graduated from Bristol Aggie. The other one graduated from Dartmouth High. They're both going off to college. They're both, 18 now, and everyone is healthy. Everyone is blessed. It's a beautiful life, man. It really is. Um, my first oldest, she's married, lives in Acushnet with her husband. Great son-in-law. It's great when you love your son-in-law,
Oh
uh,
yeah,
especially when you have six daughters. You always wonder, what that mix is going to be like, who they're going to bring home, and am I going to have to dig a hole in the backyard at some point? But I haven't had to break out a shovel yet, so that's great. And my
that's it.
next oldest, she's had quite a career on her already. There's no dust on that girl. She graduated from Johnson and Wales University. She's worked at Disney World. She's worked at some real top-notch restaurants, and then she went into education. And she's been in education at Taunton High School for, I think it's 2 years now.
Wow.
And then my other kids are, they're all in professional jobs. One is in biotech. She works in a lab. The
Okay.
other one works in finance. The two younger ones, they're just starting out college and trying to figure out what they want in life. And we're here and we're loving it. It's all blessings all the way around, man.
I love that. Education is so important, but you can only go to school if you have it in your heart. Try to tell people, don't do it if you don't want it.
Yeah.
Try to do something else. But if school is something that you love, man, go ahead and get that additional education and a degree. I mean, getting my degree was a truly, truly amazing day for me, and I definitely encourage everyone to do the best they can and go to school. And there's financial aid.
I have 2 degrees. My first degree I got almost right out of high school, like
Mm-hmm.
standard course. I got an associate's degree in criminal justice. My second degree, I had started on and off for a number of years, but life happens, right? So
Yes.
you're working, you have children, they have priorities. You pick it up, you put it down, you pick it up, put it down. And then this thing called COVID happened, right?
Mm-hmm.
We're all locked in. And I'm like, my business at the time, I thought we were going to go under. Like COVID, like many businesses, really impacted us adversely. People were doing telehealth medicine. They didn't need rides to the doctors.
Yes.
And I'm thinking to myself, here I am at this point in my late 40s, having to restart a new career with an associate's degree, and it was scary. And I went back to school remotely during COVID. I would get up at 4 o'clock in the morning, do my homework, do my projects, get my schoolwork out of the way while everybody was sleeping, and pushed through and got that bachelor's degree, man. And I had to pay for it, but I think it's fantastic that we've put money forward where we can now offer free, basically associate's degrees at the community colleges. It's a great resource. But the other thing that I think is really fantastic and that we should be looking at is the amount of apprenticeships that are available for technical kids.
Exactly.
The trades are flush with opportunities.
Mm-hmm.
The laborers, the painters, the plumbers, the carpenters, they all need and they all want and they all have mechanisms to be able to support apprenticeships for these students coming out of school. What they don't have are the applicants. And we need labor. We need these tradespeople, these skilled labor to keep the economy moving forward. They're paying great for these workers to learn, and it gives you a life skill. I've said for several years that I genuinely believe that the next generation of millionaires could potentially be tradespeople because they're just so in demand in the supply and demand. There's a lot of demand, but there's not a lot of them. And a lot of these guys and women, because there are plenty of sisters in the trades,
exactly,
getting older, and they're going to want to retire, and they need these young dogs in there to pick up the fight and do the good work. So we've got to foster these relationships with these apprenticeships for our trade unions and our labor unions, because that's the future.
It sure is. And you got a great endorsement, some labor unions, and they're great people. But there's one thing that they always do: they take politics very seriously, right? And so when one of them go ahead.
No, go ahead, CP.
So when they are endorsing someone like you, man, that speaks volumes. And so I'm very happy that those good men and women are supporting you. And so
I have been overwhelmed and so appreciative of the amount of support that I've gotten from the unions. I'm not a stranger to union. My grandfather was a union president for the welders union back in the day. My mom was in a teachers union for almost 30 years with her service at Head Start. And, I was in a union briefly when I worked for AT&T back in the day when they first came back to Southeast Mass back in the late, mid mid to late 90s.
Yeah. Yep.
So, we've been doing, in union activity for years. And, so when I approached these unions to talk about my commitment and my understanding of what it means to actually support livable wages and working wages, I understand it on a personal basis because I'm 10 toes in with these folks on a day-to-day basis. I know what it is to have to work two jobs because I do it every day. Prior to running for state rep, I was working my 40-hour-a-week job plus as a salaried manager, working for a nonprofit, working with individuals with intellectual and developmental disabilities. And then I would come home, change, and 2 to 3 nights a week, I was going out for my second gig as a bartender. Because like a lot of working people in the 9th Bristol District, I needed second income.
Yes.
And and labor and the unions respect that work ethic because it shows them that I know that what it takes to be a working person. I actually understand it. I know what it's like to have to decide, do I pay my electric bill this week or do I pay my grocery bill this week? And it's not that extreme as I've gotten older, but it's definitely been there. And, I understand that. And we need to make sure that we're doing better by people. But, I've been endorsed by the AFL-CIO, to your point, the AFL-CIO State Committee. I've been endorsed by the laborers 385. I've been endorsed by the carpenters 330. I've been endorsed by the painters union. I've been endorsed by the UMass Faculty Foundation, the Greater Southeastern Mass Labor Council. And I know that there's more coming in. I've been told that there's more coming in because I can understand and I can reflect and I can, advocate for these industries as good working, livable, paying jobs. So, and that's just common sense. Because these people are doing the hard work of things that need to be done, and they should be paid accordingly, just like our educators. We need to stop asking our educators to do more with less.
Yeah.
You hear any good legislator talk about it. Everyone knows that the formula that they calculate local aid for schooling under Chapter 70 is broken. We need to stop talking about it and do something about it.
There's one thing, my few years in the school department and working there, whether a school resource officer or later on as a para and a teacher's aide, I truly had I always had a strong appreciation for educators. But being there on the ground level with them, truly have a better appreciation 10 times over for the educators within our area, educators everywhere. I just truly see their commitment. And if anyone tells you that they work Monday through Friday and have weekends off and all these vacations, no, a teacher, anybody in the education system, guess what? I guarantee you they are putting 6.5 hours or 6.5 days during the week to get things done for Monday morning.
Curriculum prep and having to grade papers and their additional education credits that they have to go for and the additional licensing classes that they have to take. I don't know if you remember, but I worked at Dartmouth High School as a second job, working from 2 to 10, Monday through Friday a couple of years back as the night security officer.
Yeah.
And I would see teachers leaving their classrooms at 6, 7, 8 o'clock at night.
Yes.
So, this stuff of, they get summers off and, no. And I live with the teacher. I live with an educator. So I know what the struggle is and I hear it. And, at one point, when I was young and my children were young, they'd send home these wish lists from the educators, right? About, we need tissue boxes and markers and crayons and this, that, the other thing. And then you find out that the reason why these teachers were asking for these wish lists is because if they don't get this stuff, a lot of them go out and buy the stuff for themselves, for their classrooms, for their students. So, why are we asking educators to do more with less? Like, we need to step up here. I remember many times my mother, who was an educator for 30 years, going out and spending hundreds of dollars at Christmas to buy Christmas gifts for children in her class that otherwise might not have had anything.
So true.
I have nothing but love for educators, man. We've got to do right by them. They're one of the pillars of our communities. They're where many of our children get their fundamentals for life besides their parents. And we need to start treating them with that kind of respect.
Yeah. Hey, by the way, Ben Travers on Facebook says, go get him, Ed. I know where you came from, and I believe you truly do care for the ninth. Yes, you do care for the ninth. And Ben Travers, you hit the nail right on the head, man. This dude is
probably almost as long as I've known you, CP.
Wow.
Let's put it this way. Looking at that picture that Ben posted, he and I both had much better hair when we first met. And, he actually just came and supported one of our visibilities with his son, who is this incredible high school athlete at his school. I am like, I need a picture with this kid. I got a picture with him. I felt like I was standing next to the next Drake May. Like, this kid has an arm on him. He is D1 like all day long. Yeah. So, but it's just, there's so many things to do and so many things to talk about, CP. I care deeply about the 9th Bristol District in the region. And I've lived here most of my life. So, I understand on a personal level when people talk about their utility bills, how high they are, because we all see them. And, I'm tired of these charges. It seems like you get a daylight charge, you get a nighttime charge, you get a refrigerator light charge. They're nickel and diming us, but they're not giving us any return on investment. One of my proposals is we need to start working much more closely with monitoring and holding the DPU accountable to stop these utility companies from gouging the consumers, us, without a real explanation of what's happening. Eversource posted again record profits last year, over like 1.2 or 1.3 billion dollars. And I get it, they're a business, they have shareholders that they're responsible to, but here's the thing, they had like $200 million in uncollected receivables.
Wow.
And those are people that just couldn't afford to pay their bills that are in collections. So had they collected that money, they would have been over $1.5 billion. Meanwhile, we have seniors in our community who are being outpriced of their houses because they're house rich, because they bought their house 40 years ago. When they had the benefit of buying it for maybe $40,000, and it's gone up, exponentially over the past 40 years. And now you have a widow sitting in her house, and I've heard it firsthand talking to people on their porches. And one will tell me, I've been a widow for 5 years. I've been in this house for 42 years or 43 years, and I'm having trouble keeping up with the other things, even though I don't have a mortgage.
Yes.
So, I would recommend with the DPU that, we start holding them more accountable on how they hold the utility companies accountable. We need to know, like, if you're charging us for infrastructure, where's the infrastructure? Because I know the constituents in the south end of Dartmouth, they lose power every time the temperature goes over 80 degrees lately.
Yeah. Yep.
And they're telling, oh, well, it's an infrastructure issue. Well, fix the damn infrastructure issue. You're charging on us enough for it. I mean, these people are paying for this. It's not like they're asking you to do something that we're not paying for. We're paying you for it. You're charging us for it. So put the money where it belongs.
Exactly. The
it's just wild, man. It really is.
I want to say hello to everybody on Facebook, LinkedIn, YouTube. Also, great comments by David Figueroa, Mike Samayo. I appreciate you on YouTube. But thank you for joining us. And please, if you live in the 9th District, get out there and vote. Cast your vote. Review the issues. And stop by one of the debates and check out Mr. Pacheco and what he has on his agenda, and make a decision.
We just had a candidates forum last night. It was myself and my Democratic opponent. That's on. You can actually find that on YouTube as well.
Okay.
It was under Dartmouth Community Television, and it was the Democratic Candidates Forum. I think that there are some significant differences between myself and my opponent. First off, I was very clear about things like my support for women's rights. My opponent, not so much.
Yes.
I think that's real concerning, particularly on the Democratic ticket. You should be pretty clear about what your support is for a woman's right to choose.
Yes.
As a dad of 6 daughters, I do not believe that it's the job of government to sit up in Boston and decide what a woman should do with their body. I wouldn't want the opposite if the shoe was on the other foot of a group of people trying to tell me what I should do with my body as a man. It's not right. Our job is not to be religious leaders. Our job is to be legislators and not to impose your religious beliefs on your general constituency, because there is clearly a separation of church and state for a reason. And people that flounder behind that, it's an excuse. You're elected to lead. It's called leadership, not fellowship.
I agree.
You have to do your job.
I agree 100%. Let's see, we got about 6 minutes, Ed, and I truly want you to make sure that you're getting everything out there that's possible. Especially the campaign and the last closing weeks of this election, and I want to make sure.
3 weeks away. It was 3 weeks from yesterday. Honestly, this has been a tremendous experience for me. My uncle, Tommy Lopes, was the first Cape Verdean legislator in Massachusetts, representing Bedford, right?
Yeah.
And so when you grow up in a family and that has that family dynamic and that history to public service, that's something that sits right here and right here.
Mm-hmm.
And you carry that with you. And you want to talk about having a role model, you can't get much better than that. And that's, he was the type of person that would literally give you the shirt off his back. And, and that's not, hyperbole. I remember many times hearing about him taking the last $5 or $10 out of his pocket and giving it to someone.
I've seen it. Yeah, great man and truly missed.
So, those are the same kind of values that I'm trying to bring to this. Just to be clear, the 9th Bristol District, Charlie, that's all of Dartmouth and precinct Ward 1, D, E, and F, which is why I've been speaking out so heavily, opposing the closing of Station 9 up in the North End. I was in services on Sunday with my wife at St. Gabriel's Church on Tarkin Hill, which is a stone's throw from Station 9.
Yes.
A member of the congregation had a medical emergency that we had to jump into action, get her out of the church, out into the lobby, and stabilize her. And we called 911, and it took almost 10 minutes for a paramedic unit to respond because they had to come from Sassaquin when we had Station 9 right up the street.
Wow.
That's, this is real life. People are going to get hurt, and it's not just going to be isolated. And the city of New Bedford, the mayor and the city council, they need to come together and figure out how to keep that station open. They need to also be on the lookout, because those guys that were trying to push parallel products on the north end of New Bedford, they're not going away. They're still trying to push that on people. And if that gets in, not only is New Bedford's north end at risk, the residents and the neighbors, but the town of Dartmouth is at risk, because the Pascomanset River runs right through there. And if that stuff leaches into the groundwater, it's going to come right into Dartmouth's water supply. And we're already having enough challenges. We bought $2 million worth of water last year from New Bedford. We're on track for $3 million this year. And the last thing we need is a cataclysmic event like water contamination from something like that. But,
True.
Charlie, I'd like to say to people that might be watching, they're asking, why should we vote for Ed Pacheco as state representative? And I have a couple of really good reasons why. The first is, there isn't anyone on this race that understands the working class struggle better than I do. I'm there every day next door with my neighbors, with the people in this community, with retirees that still have to work to make ends meet. I understand on a very personal note what it means to be working class, and I have no problem with representing that. I am a political outsider in this race. I am not the chosen one in this race at all. I've raised about $20,000 from, mom and pop donations, friends, family. And yeah, I've gotten some larger donations, and certainly the unions have helped support me a bit. But overwhelmingly, my donation base is much smaller than other candidates. I mean, I have candidates, opponents that are pulling $1,000 donations. I don't know anyone that can write $1,000 check at once. And that just, it talks about where the money is coming from. I am not the establishment candidate. I'm the candidate that's going to work for the people, not for special interest. I don't need a $2,500 a month special aid to tell me what's going on in the district, because I live it every day.
Yes, you do.
I've knocked on about 3,800, almost 3,900 doors since April. I've gone through 2 pairs of shoes. I was going to throw away the first pair. And my wife said, no, you hold on to those to remember what you had to do to win this race. And so I have them, but I wore through the soles. I tried putting insoles in them. They were leaking when it rained. It was just not a good look. I'm not running to become a career politician. I'm running because the district has a lot of challenges that needs to be addressed. And I feel like I'm the guy that's best suited to do it.
Of course you are. Ed, I always have an open invitation for you on this podcast. At any point, if from this day forward, if you need to come on, please let me know, and then we can set up something.
Absolutely.
And my time schedule. And
just to tap on what you said earlier, though, CP, if you are registered to vote on September 1st, you have to get to the ballot box. You have to take 10 minutes, go and cast your vote, because every vote will matter. There was a state rep not far from here who got elected. She won by 15 votes on a state representative's race. So do not discount the value of your vote. It doesn't matter if it's raining, if it's snowing, if it's sleet. You got to get out and vote, folks.
So true. All right, everyone. I highly recommend that you get out there and vote for Ed Pacheco. Ed Pacheco, thank you and good luck September 1st. I truly, and thank you. Mariana Furtado Pacheco, I see you. That was Ben who said that. Yes. Truly, man, Facebook, YouTube, and LinkedIn, you have been great for this podcast, and spread the word. Please share this podcast and get the word out even further. All
Thank
right,
you,
Ed,
Steve.
you have a great night and good night.
God bless my brother.
Thank you.
All right, bye-bye.
Bye-bye.